There's supposed to be a green line.
Showing the audio.
Yeah, you're good.
Word.
All right.
Welcome back, Fab.
Glad to be here.
What up, everybody? It's the People's Realtor, Realty Ryan, here with Mr. Fix and Flip himself, our broker, Mr. Fabian Weir.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm glad to be here. And this time I'm going to make sure I talk loud enough because that whole episode is almost trash because I was literally whispering the whole time.
I don't want to hear no excuses. Y'all better turn
Yeah,
up
man.
this episode, all right? Shout out to everybody, over 7,000 subscribers. We appreciate y'all. In fact, before we even get started, Fab, can we toast up?
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So we on that Tito's today. This is not a plug, but it's kind of a plug, but we just do what we do. And Romano sipped up too, because we don't leave nobody out. Fab, anything you want to toast up to?
Hey, listen, last time you guys toast, we were at 200. Now we're at over 7,000. So, yeah, I feel like we need to, like, celebrate. I don't know the math on that. 35 times more than whatever.
I think he's
no?
under exact. Yeah, it's probably
That might be a lot of
I don't know my
celebrating.
math that well, but
Yeah.
I think it's more than that. We
35
sounded-
shots.
We sounded like my boy telling the house prices. No troll there.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
word to
Cheers.
the subscribers, to everybody. Go in. Word. My cup was a little fuller than I thought.
Nah, yo. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's a lot. We're supposed to just, because I'm sipping, man. Y'all already emptied the cup? I'll
It's
sip.
gone.
I'll sip.
Welcome to do so. But I just want everybody to know, all 7,000 subscribers, like I said, managing broker right here. It's because of Fabian that we're here in this building. This is his building, his office, where we're all able to thrive, come through whenever we need, handle our business. Shout out to Fab and everything he does as our broker and a top selling agent here in the brokerage. My man gets it done. So show that love. Make sure y'all tune in to this episode. Word up.
Yeah, shout out to you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we coming out real hard this summer with the cars, with the whips.
Yeah, facts. So,
My bad, y'all. Pause or whatever I gotta do.
all right, so here's the thing, though. Like, I don't know if I could do anything with my car to match your car.
Nah, you're wildin'.
Nah, that Z is just,
90s classics, baby.
bro, they both classics, but that Z is tough.
We coming out hard with it.
I mean, for the fans of the MR2, right? SW20, you know, that's what I got. Non-turbo.
That's okay. We're
Realty
gonna
Ryan
switch
got
it up.
the-
Yeah, I'm gonna make him twin turbo as soon
Yeah.
enough, y'all. He'll be
Realty
in the
Ryan
scene
got the
with
twin
me.
turbo.
Yep.
We're too old to really speed anyway, truthfully.
Speak for yourself.
So right now it's more about like,
I can't wait to touch a $150.
nah, I'm not doing that. Guys, don't do that. All I'm gonna do is I just want the car to look clean, man. Like the speed part of it, I'm good on that at this point. Not to say I'm gonna drive 65 miles an hour, but
Right.
I'm definitely not doing about 10.
Right. How do you get into the old school cars, Fab, and especially like Japanese cars?
All right, so I love it, man. I feel like growing up too, like it was. You remember? I mean, we're close in age. You know what I mean? You're my OG, but like not by a lot.
Right.
So you remember us growing up? Like we would see these cars, and you know, I just remember like trying to draw some of these cars, and
That's lit.
you know what I mean. Always loved them. Like whether I seen them in little magazines and all of that stuff. To when you have the computer, you used to have them as your screensavers.
Right.
So a lot of those cars you just fell in love with from that time, man.
Yeah.
So then you get to the age now where you're like, damn, I could probably buy that.
For real.
So they still hot to us. To some people, they don't really know. So to them, it might look like a bucket or something. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know,
real.
but yeah, we live for it for sure.
Exactly. To each his own. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
playing the video games. You know,
Yeah.
I was telling somebody yesterday, one of my coworkers, like sitting on dad's lap as a wee one, and he got me like steering the wheel or whatever car he driving. Everything in my life kind of pushed me towards the cars,
Yes.
and even pushed me towards the speed. I got an addiction worse than the liquor with the speed in the cars. You feel me? So, but don't drink and drive. Word up.
Yeah, we're not combining the two. We're just saying.
Real
You know
talk,
what I mean?
especially due to recent instances, which we'll be talking about sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to need y'all to show some support for that too. You know, stay off the road if you drinking, especially if you behind something powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
You feel me?
Yeah, but I've never owned a car that's not Japanese, right?
That's kind of true. Yeah, when I think about it.
Yeah, so
going
every
hard
car
on
is,
the Axe and the Hondas, really.
exactly. My first car was a '94 Integra.
That's tough.
Shout out to my brother.
Coupe?
Coupe.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. You probably remember that one vaguely.
I don't see that one. When I saw you when you had your first few cars, it was the Prelude, and then you got the Accord.
Yeah, so I sold that
champagne
Integra.
John.
Yeah, I sold that Integra to buy that Prelude.
Word.
But my brother got me that car. That was my first car, you know what I mean? So
That's tough.
shout out to my brother.
Hell
Always
yeah.
looking out from ever since, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was my first car was a Toyota Celica convertible, a red John. And I like ran through it a little bit, but it was already kind of run through. And I just like finished it off, passed it on, and the next thing I got was so garbage I don't even want to talk about it. You feel
Was that
me?
the Mazda?
Nah, I got a Neon after that.
'Cause I remember
then
you had
I
the
got
Mazda.
the Mazda.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
took
yeah.
a little like bucket for a hot minute.
Yeah, true.
And then I switched to the black Mazda. And then like later on in life, I circled back around to an older Mazda. Shout out to my boy Joe Hubbard. Y'all might know Joe Hubbard. Joe Hubbard is the man, home do video editing, and for a lot of the trailers y'all see on TV. But shout out to him. He sold me a Mazda MX-6, like a 91 little blue bucket joint, but it held it down and got around, and I held that down, in the meantime. But yeah, I had a couple Mazdas, then I got the Z after that.
Yeah.
Actually, right after that Mazda, that's when I got the red
The red
Z.
one, yeah.
Yes, sir. Went from an NA to a twin
Which
turbo.
I've been trying to buy it for like 15 years.
Hey, it's available now.
I'm good on it
The
now.
price is low.
I'm good on it now.
That's okay. We're going to keep it in the family. Hey, if y'all want a Nissan 300ZX Project Car T-Top Twin Turbo Standard, holla at your boy Realty Ryan. I'm going to let her go for about $8,500 or so. You might be able to talk me down a little bit, but maybe not. You feel me?
Yeah, but you know what though? I would buy another Prelude though. See, I had a 95 SE. Car was tough. The problem with them was that they had like they were burning oil a lot. So that's how I ended up with that Honda Accord. You want to work one morning, it sounded like my whole engine was falling out the car. Really, I blew the engine on the way to work. So I kind of like hopped out of that for a little bit just to get that Honda to move around until I was able to like save up and buy another engine to drop in there.
Real talk.
So we love the cars, man. We love the cars, and for those who know these cars, they know they're classics and they love them.
Right.
For the other people, not so much. Mine right now, I'm just working on it little by little. But Realty Ryan's about to motivate me to really get it going.
No. So there's two type of people in the world. There's people like me, and there's people like Fab. And when I sit back and analyze it, me personally, although I enjoy being me and doing what I do, and I've never like wanted to be anyone else, be envious or jealous of anyone else. If I had to pick a lane, I'd pick your lane because you're a little bit more disciplined than I am. I'm basically like, if I want it, I'm gonna get it type person, and I don't care about cost savings.
That's good.
None of that. It is, but everything in moderation. I feel like I've moderated it well. But as now being in real estate, and I want to say this in front of everyone because it's important. It's something we all struggle with. There's disciplined people like you. There's disciplined people like my boy LaShawn. Shout out to LaShawn. Buying his house, he had that cake ready, and he was ready. Y'all know how to stack and save, and that's very important. That allows people to make their dreams come true, to do the things that they need to do, and to make goals come true. Like the lifestyle I live is more of like run it up and then recover. You know what I'm saying? Make it out the best way. But it teaches me new tricks to put my back against the wall like that, and it makes me go out there and get it.
But you don't want to do it like constantly. That's the only thing.
Well, so there's a
because this is a good conversation.
Yeah, there's a few
I like
mindsets
because you're
had.
saying that, but there's some part of that I envy, and that's a fact.
Okay, so we're gonna go with it like this, right?
Yeah.
From a youngster who always been working, I said I'm a slave to my things because I'm working hard to sustain a lifestyle, and I can't stop working the way I'm working because then I lose that lifestyle. True. So when I've seen certain people in my life who struggle with things like drug addiction and things like that, but they're living like a carefree life where they don't have a job or the debts or anything to even worry about, they might not have a lot,
But
they,
it's peaceful.
Yeah, they don't have that stress.
Yeah, true.
Right?
True. Yeah.
So slave to my things. Now, if I live like you, then I'm kind of like balancing myself and stacking.
Yeah.
Making sure there's cushion. Working on things in other places, and
Okay.
I'm being very like focused with the money so that I make sure the things I need to be done.
But-
What about retirement though? What about retirement, Fab?
all right, but here before I even get to that, here's
All
my
right.
perspective on it, because I feel like, yes, I was like that, and I'm trying not to be, and I know that sounds crazy. The discipline part I'm not gonna like leave behind though, right?
Right.
But I feel like I'm always, from ever since, like, all right, I need to take care of this. I'm very tunnel vision with trying to like build something, right?
Right.
And a lot of times you deprive yourself of stuff that like you really want, like, or the stuff that you really like, not only in that moment, but that you like for real.
Right.
So sometimes even treating yourself, sometimes doing something so simple, you really don't do. So you put it off, put it off, put it off, and you're just, yes, you're accumulating assets and stuff like that, right?
Right.
But I'm at the point now where sometimes I sit back and be like, damn, like, yo, I really wanted that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I would have been just as happy if I had it in comparison to what I was able to do outside of it. So I guess if you can strike the balance, then it'll be perfect.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to be on the extreme side of either one
Right.
of our behavior.
Right.
But if we can strike the balance, it'll be perfect.
Balance is everything.
Yeah. But as far as the retirement go,
Yes.
all right, so the retirement part is not about, I mean, you could save for retirement, right? You
Right.
could do the Roth, whatever you want to do, right? Any type of retirement fund, like owning assets such as real estate, is always going to be good for retirement. But you don't necessarily only have to do it as an investor, right?
Right.
So now if my mind is like, oh, I want to buy this property and rent it out and make some money, and then when I retire, it's great, but think about all you put into that. Or if you have the mindset to say, you know what, all right, I got the house that I want, right? And either way, I'm going to pay it off by the time I'm retired. So no, that's an asset that's going to have value that
Right.
can help me to retirement.
Right.
Okay, by the way, I like to travel to this place, and maybe I could find a way to buy a vacation home that I could rent when I'm not there, or build a home that I could rent
Right.
when I'm not there. And then by the time I'm retired, there go value right there too. But those are things that you're using in the time being,
Right.
not just an asset that's just sitting there. So my mindset now is more about, yes, I'm good with the accumulating the assets type of situation, but
Right.
I'd rather it be something that I care to use than to just be something that's income producing.
1,000. Because if it's just sitting there, it's not really an asset. So that's the understanding. That's
Yeah.
like that's where like the correction comes in the mindset that like people say a car is a liability and a house is an asset, right? But if you were to use your car to do like Uber Eats, or you are Turoing your vehicle, then your car would then become an asset.
Bro.
If you're living in a single family house and you're just paying a mortgage, that's kind of an asset, but it's
But
kind
if
of
we
not
talk,
really
we talking
an
about
asset.
true definition. See, bro, like if you asked me this a year or two ago, I'll fully agree, right?
Right.
But right now, I'm telling you people right now, all the people that's watching, right? I don't know how much people actually will watch this. You know, I don't think I'm as popular as you guys. But
We don't hear, don't put that
You know
in
what
the
I'm saying?
air, sir.
But all I'm gonna say is, what people are considering asset, we got to change our idea or meaning of asset, right? Because every time I jump in that old ass 93 MR2 on a Sunday, that's an asset to me. I don't care about the value. Like I
Right.
enjoy
it gotta
it.
generate money.
Bro,
Right.
I enjoy that shit thorough. Like I love that car. Like I just on a Sunday, just me and the road. You understand what I'm saying? If you're in a house that you love for real, that you're happy every time you pull into that driveway, I don't care if it doesn't produce any income at all. That's a true asset just because of how it makes you feel.
Right.
So my mindset regarding that has changed a lot, because it's not just about the value or the value added. It's about how does it make you feel on a daily basis. That's what a true asset is for me at this point.
I'm glad you said that, because that is a great breakaway to my other part of that, like of saying like slave to my things.
Yeah.
Like you sacrifice time working So then you miss like opportunities and situations for simple enjoyment, not necessarily
Exactly.
for like financial gain and stuff like that. So that's why I think it's important to have a balance between that mindset of splurging and being able to do what you want when you want, but then knowing better, because like as a young person, I was working so much, I felt like I was missing a lot of time out going chill with my peoples. Like the car shows, a lot of times my peoples who know, they were out in mass and stuff at hot import nights and stuff like that. And I, to this day, at 41 years old, have never attended.
Because you were working.
Yeah, and I love cars. Like, think about what I'm driving, what I'm building.
Yeah.
I would have loved that experience, but I missed it because I was too busy chasing the bag. So there's a point where, like, chasing the bag could be a negative thing, and that's something that I toss and turn with.
Yeah.
That's why my lifestyle compared to your lifestyle, I look at it as a hindrance, because if I'm being like conscious like that with my money and stacking, then I have more opportunity to live these life moments because I have cushion to take that time.
Yes, but see, bro, I'm telling you, this is a new me, not fully. But anyways, so here's what I'm gonna say.
Tell them.
I could appreciate that perspective and I understand that perspective, right? But at the same time, the balance is necessary. It is 100% necessary.
Right.
Because maybe some of these things that you like now, you probably won't like 10 years from now. And it's no different because remember, like, you're so disciplined to doing something that it's like you don't even catch your breath sometime, right? It's almost like when I got into the whole investing thing for the most part. You go from one headache to the next headache and all of that stuff, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, am I even enjoying this or am I enjoying any of this money or whatever?
Right.
Because it's almost like you're rolling everything into the next thing. So at some point, like, you got to find a piece in there where you either take a break or you enjoy it in whatever way how you choose to enjoy it. Because it's at the point that, like, we flip properties, and I think other than maybe the first one, I don't think my brothers and I really even celebrate or like go and have a drink or do anything. Right. We just kind of like, all right, well, let's figure out the next one. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to retrain my mind to say, all right, stop for a second, like, you know, smell the flowers, enjoy some of the things. There's things that you want and it's not crazy.
Right.
Like, you just want it because you want it. It don't matter if it makes sense to anybody else but you.
Real talk.
As long as you're not buying that thing or doing that, like, without thinking about everything else. If you're putting important things on the back burner, then that's different. But if you have the ability to, then just do it, man.
Yo.
You
ain't got to tell me, Fab.
I know I ain't got to tell you.
I jumped the hell in. You don't even want to know. I was on the internet yesterday shopping for some new, and I might have went a little ham on some things, you know, because I don't play. But yeah, I had to.
Bro.
And you know what's funny about this experience? I had to pay the penalty of my bad behavior.
It's all right.
Right? Because I love the phones.
You got a new phone?
Not yet. But it's coming, goddammit.
Oh, where's that? That Z Fold?
Oh, wait, don't tell my mama, no. Don't tell my mama.
Is it the super thin one?
Actually, we can't even talk about it. We can't even talk about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Because Mom Dude's
you
gonna
know
watch.
what it is. You know, goddamn.
It gotta be.
Anyway.
I saw the commercial
yesterday. When I went to get it,
yeah,
before when I've gotten on my old phones, because this damn, like, I didn't, what I'm at, like, the fourth one now. So I'm at about $8,000 in cell phones in the past, like, few years. So.
That's nuts.
All the other ones, I had an account with Samsung, and I was able to finance.
Yeah.
And I had racks on racks. Like, I could about bought the phone 2 times.
Yo, maybe we should plug it, too.
I mean, if you trying to get a new phone, and I love Samsung, shout out to Samsung. Go to Samsung.com, apply for Samsung financing, and instead of going to your carrier, go to Samsung.com and get you an unlocked phone. Then you'll finance it the same way you would with your carrier. Difference is you'll get the phone a lot cheaper, most likely. So that's the win. And you're not stuck to any carrier owing them for your phone. So basically, when you buy it straight from Samsung Unlocked, you can take your phone anywhere. And if you mess up your contract, they can't do nothing with your phone because you didn't buy it through them. You bought it directly through Samsung. So for all these years, the way I was able to do funny shit like throw my broker a phone,
Facts. I was gonna talk about that.
you know, was because I had an account with them. I'm paying the phone off anyway.
So-
and you feel me?
So all right, people. So listen. So I had a little raggedy phone because for me, I'm not big on the phones like Realty Ryan is, and he saw it, and he felt sorry for me, guys. So
Nah.
so
not at
he
all.
was upgrading, and he's like, "Nah, fam, you got to try this, man." And he's like, "Yo, just take the phone." And I'm like, "Nah, bro, my phone is working. Yeah, it's probably overheating, but you know what I'm saying."
My man had like
From
the
time
LG
to time, you know
or
what I'm
some
saying?
shit.
Yeah, but you
God
know what I
damn.
mean? It's working. And he's like, "Nah, trust me." And this phone, what was that? That's
That's
a
the
3.
three.
That's a Z Fold 3. And when I'm telling you, that phone changed my life. And even if Samsung don't even throw us a free phone or nothing, I'm just talking from the heart, man.
Look.
When I travel, I don't even travel with my laptop like that because I could do my work right from the phone. Like it's like having a mini
It's
tablet.
a realtor's dream.
It's a realtor's dream. So ever since then, I would never use another phone. And for all you people that got iPhone, trust me, if you think your phone's tough, it ain't tough.
Nah, it's
If
not.
you don't got a Z Fold, forget about it.
Yeah.
You understand?
And this that same Z Fold 4 that I
Yeah.
got when I traded you, but it's a terabyte.
Yeah.
You
and
feel
And
me?
the one that I upgrade to know, I
It's
don't
a
be knowing these
6.
things. I think it's a 6. So the old one eventually kind of like shit the bed. So no, I end up upgrading, of course. Where else am I gonna go?
And that's how you know that phone is cracked because
Factual.
Fab was rocking probably like $100-$200 phone, and he went out there and probably
Factual.
spent like $600-$800.
Whoa.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't know.
guys, hey, listen.
I mean, I'm guessing. I
Hey,
don't know
you
the
remember,
real
you
number,
remember
but
what
I'm
Realty
just
Ryan,
saying.
what Realty Ryan said earlier? Hey, listen, I went to T-Mobile, and T-Mobile said, hey, we got a little special going on, and we'll put it in your bill, no interest. And I said, sounds good.
Now,
I'm not paying cash for none of that.
Fab says yes to T-Mobile because he's an international type guy. I got
Bro.
a beef with them from back in the day, so
Listen, man, I'm not taking out
Fuck y'all,
$1,600.
T-Mobile, but
I ain't taking
y'all
out
cool.
$1,600 to pay for no phone, bro. Not in one shot.
no. You gotta charge it to the carrier.
Add it to my bill.
You gotta charge
Add it to
it.
the
I
bill.
was thinking about going to AT&T and I was gonna charge it, but all right, we done enough of that. We gotta get some places. So I want to get to the point of why we here, and I want to get back to something that I think is real important, and that's realtor relations.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell us, Fab, about some of your experiences because you're the top salesman here at Prefect Realty and you're the managing broker. So not only are you schooling all of us to elevate ourselves, but you showing us what the results of those practices are by being the fruit of what you're saying.
Yeah, so I would say I'm schooling y'all. It's called survival, guys. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, anybody could talk about being a managing broker and all of that from the outside. For the most part, if you're running a company with under 50 agents, probably under 75 agents, I can't see how it would be possible for you to be solely a managing broker unless you have something else going on. Because truthfully, when you think about it, the production overall, not just with our company, but for people that's in this field, you understand that it's not realistic for you to really live as, comfortable as
Right.
you may like, just being a managing broker.
Right.
You know,
Gotta sell.
yeah,
And you said a number like 50, but here at our office, we got like less than 10 people.
yeah, less than 10.
So you out here hustling real hard to keep these lights on here, to keep those lights on at your house.
Yeah, but you
And
can't diminish what you guys are doing.
I understand, but we trying to teach us and everyone else coming up.
Yeah.
What are the ways? What do you say? And more so like relations, because as an agent, and I'm a union worker as well. So I'm
Yeah.
part of the real estate, basically union. I'm also part of the automotive workers union.
Yeah.
And seniority and things like that is everything in those type of situations.
Factual.
And even though you've been in the game for like 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
you're still like somewhat of like, you're not a rookie, but you're more like an intermediate. They probably wouldn't consider you a veteran based off time
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because I just went on a contract with a property yesterday, and I met with the agent, and she also runs a brokerage, but I think it's just her from her house kind of thing. But I was talking to her briefly, and she says, "Oh yeah, I've been in this business over 30 years."
Right.
And I'm like, man,
Right.
that's forever and a day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, compared to somebody like that, yeah, I would say I'm still a rookie. They've seen basically every aspect and every change that's come.
We're not gonna do all that. We're not
No,
gonna do a
hey,
rookie. Like I
listen,
said, I'm gonna put you
I'm not
in
a rookie.
intermediate.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not a
If we was
rookie
playing a
by
video
how we
game, you'd be a
operate.
middle level.
Yes,
You feel me? So
by experience, by time,
right.
but not by what we put into this thing. Because
Right.
we definitely yeah, we want to be the best at what we do, and I strive off of that. I'm very competitive. So it's not just about the life that I'm trying to live, is because like I really want to be top dog for real. Like, so that's something in me, like, where I'm just like, yeah, mediocrity is never going ever
Right.
ever fly with me for sure.
That's real.
Yeah.
And it shows. And
Thank
it
you.
shows. How do you deal with the other agents out there? Because this is an industry where you're basically like dealing with your peers. There has to be
Yeah.
an open line of communication, and I'm bringing all this up for a reason. But there's got to be an open line of communication. You're trying to get a deal done. You're working with a client, no matter what side you're on. How do you deal with these other people? Can you tell us about like a great experience versus like a bad experience?
Yeah.
What's your expectation?
So everything comes down to personalities, right? No, you have some people that, man, I don't know if they the way how they view these things, where it's like we're already on the contract. We're trying to work to the same goal, right? But it's almost like their mindset is, man, I gotta take your head off.
I gotta get as much as I can about you.
And not even just, but it's like there's an aggression that they come with, right? So I had to learn to do this over time, because naturally, sometimes I was a hothead when it comes to, like, because if I'm meeting you with grace, I don't feel like, in no way, in no lifetime, I feel like you could feel like you can meet me with
Halfway.
hostility. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm learning to take a humbler approach sometimes, because sometimes people don't know any better, right? So sometimes when people meet you with aggression, you have to learn to just say, all right, well, boom, and you can de-escalate the situation the best of your ability. Because what people fail to realize is that most agents, when they come into this business, right, you're primarily working with buyers, right? For probably the first couple of years. Every now and then you might get a 1 and 2 listing and whatever. It blows my mind how much people end up, okay, it's your first listing, and all of a sudden you forgot what it was like to be on the buying end. All the stuff that's out of your control, that you're just trying to steer the ship. Now all of a sudden, like, you could have a simple thing that might cause you to need an extension, and the agent will make it look like, or act like, you just killed your dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
like the people out there, they don't maybe understand 100% of what you're saying, because we're agents.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna break down to is like, you're in a contractual situation between two parties negotiating a deal where a property is being bought and sold between two people. In that deal, things are going to come up. There could be financing issues. There could be issues with the price where the appraisal doesn't match. You have to find a way at that time, as two people trying to close a deal, to come to an agreement. So when Fabian's talking about taking someone's head off, what he's speaking to is that now, instead of coming to agreement, that person is trying to bogart the situation and ask for way more than what should be expected, instead of meeting halfway, because we're two parties. And this is why I'm speaking about seniority, because no matter what seniority you are, we're all agents, we're all professionals. If you have an understanding of the job and what the duties are, then you should perform that way, and you shouldn't expect to get over on anyone based off their time or tenure. And even if their knowledge is lacking, you should be looking to create a good environment to close that deal.
And the crazy part about that, that's another thing about seniority, right? In your job, you understand and seniority.
Right.
In here, unless I look at somebody's license number and probably their agent ID, I probably won't really know how fresh they are to the business. Well, once I talk to them on the phone, most of the time I can.
Well, my point is that you shouldn't know in this industry. In my industry of working in manufacturing, seniority dictates like a lot. Like the jobs you can take are based off of that. In real estate, it's not that.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that the crazy thing about that is sometimes, like I said, sometimes you just have to just let it be, right? Meaning that, like, I would literally, somebody don't care that I'm a broker or whatever. Sometimes you could be, sometimes they could really be a rookie, bro. And the way how they act and carry themselves,
Right.
and you're just thinking to yourself, like, man, that's crazy. Like, I do more in a month than you do in a year.
Real talk.
But you're acting as if like you're like you know more about this, or like it's just, I don't know why that perception. I don't know how they gained that perception. Well, I kind of do know in some instances,
Right.
right? But it's this idea that they have where they're approaching you in a way like we're not peers, but it's like
Right.
you against me, and I'm trying to show you that I know more than you. But people got to always remember, decency take you a lot further, right? Decency, trust me. What was that interview? I was watching an interview with Freeway Ricky Ross. And
Oh man, dope boy,
hey,
dope
listen,
boy.
hey. You know what I'm saying? And in that interview, one thing that he said in that interview that stood out to me, he said he never did one of his transactions, right, with a stick, quote unquote.
With
And
that thing on him.
yeah, and he says, despite that life that he lives, right, is more about the respect that somebody will have for you, right? Likewise, the respect that you have for them,
To not come.
and a mutual respect and trust that you will have in that person. Because if that, then that shouldn't be somebody that you're doing business with in the
Right,
first
if you
place.
feel like you have to come like that. I like
Right?
that.
So
Yeah,
no,
that's real.
imagine somebody that can be that powerful, that could really make any call that they wanted at the time, right?
Right.
Don't choose to do that because he understand that you can achieve a lot more with decency. That's something that people should know. And that's the reason when we talk about relationship that I've built over the years, I would say most of my transactions are pretty positive because I don't feel like it's a majority of agent that actually approach it from that
Right, that
perspective.
mindset, yeah.
But also, over the years, we do build great relationships with people, not only from a personal level, but just how we carry ourselves business wise. So that way they can have confidence in knowing that whether it's my name on it, Realty Ryan, Romano, anybody from here, they know that there's a level of like excellence that we're gonna come with because we don't have the luxury to be mediocre. Because my reputation affects them, likewise their reputation affects me. Right. So for us, that's always gonna be important. So that's how we build relationship, by not only being proficient, but leading with decency.
Real talk. Thank you. I appreciate that. The reason why I like aimed towards this subject especially was because, I'm outside, realtor for the people. So I do everything. I don't just sell and help people buy. I work with renters all day. Sometimes due to where I work in a big place, I have different people come to me, even with my job, for the different things I do, relying on me because they know what type of person I am. I recently had a guy I work with come to me and ask for some help, and I attempted to help him, and we literally went through 2 different credit checks where the agents on the other side basically ignored all of my contacts and left me in a place where now I just made these people pay for an application on a credit check twice and had to say they're not answering me type of thing. And luckily, because I think they knew me, they knew that it wasn't like I was just BSing around. But awkwardly enough, the main transaction even happened last week where I was hitting this guy up from like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for a showing on Saturday. And then we didn't even get to see it, one of them, because they never even hit us back.
And it's a vacant property.
Yeah, it's a vacant property. So
That's
excuse me,
unacceptable.
I think that was the one the week before. We didn't
Yeah.
even get to see it because they never hit us back. This week we got to see it, but when I started trying to send him the application, there was no communication back for days, right? So now Monday, the dude emails me and goes, and shout out to Mike, do better business in the future, sir, because I'm telling you why this shit is bad. You feel me? I ain't gonna put your last name out there, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Do better business, because this is the point of this, and this is why agents too should be watching what we say and what we do. Because like I said, seniority in this business doesn't matter. My sales career is pretty extensive, almost 30 years. But anyway, the guy hits me up and basically says that he has someone locked in, so he never marked it in the MLS as being under contract, right? Then it fell through. So now he's only reaching out to me and contacting me because the deal fell through, and I've been reaching out to him for days.
Yeah.
Which at this point now we start looking at other places. So then the dude he sends me to his assistant to send the information. I still try to follow through because on the behalf of my client, I'm not going to catch feelings about this.
True.
I know they like the place. I'm going to try to pursue it. This fool gave me the wrong email for his assistant, whoever it was. So now I called him. He put the number in there, leave a message. Still haven't heard from him. And he emailed me back today to give me the right email, which I'm not interested. We've already basically locked down another property.
Okay, good.
Where I called the agent before we even did the showing. She answered. I explained what had been happening with these other people. Not throwing no names like I just did. Mike, get your shit together. And the rest of y'all too. I'm tired of this garbage, bro. I'm not a snitch, so I won't be going to guard on you. But you don't want to have bad interactions with me because I may not do nothing criminal, but I'm going to tell you about yourself. And I'm airing you out right now.
And Realtor Ryan will not forget.
No,
yes, he will
I'm not going to let it go because you're messing with my reputation. When I'm working with a client, I'm trying to help someone. I want to make sure they're straight.
That's true.
Anyone that puts my reputation in jeopardy is a problem.
Well, all right. So that's the thing, though. I don't care what's your circumstance. I don't believe in doing anything halfway, right? Whether you're doing this part-time or full-time, your effort should still be the same.
Right.
Right? No, if you're even doing it full-time, that's even more shameful. Because, no, if your workload is too much for you to handle, right?
Right.
Then have somebody else take care of it. And like, most of the time when we get rentals at this point, I don't really do them myself.
Right.
Like, because if I'm going to be too busy taking care of other stuff in order to give it my full attention, I'd rather get somebody that's just really trying to get their feet wet that I trust enough to say, okay, you're going to make the right decision on putting the perfect candidate in this property for this client.
Right. So, Mike, get you an assistant. Yes.
Yeah,
I understand
or it doesn't
perfectly.
have to be, you know what I mean? Or
no, that was
if you
great
cannot,
what you
if
said.
you cannot manage the workload, then maybe you have to pick and choose what it is that your business is going to be.
Right.
You understand? So that's better than having this now new reputation that you may have. And if you feel that way about him, I'm sure there's probably a few agents that probably, feel the same way.
Right.
And then furthermore, if the property is empty, why not go and show? Come on, man.
I mean, right. That's another thing I don't understand about certain agents.
Yeah.
They don't take the rental serious enough to be paying attention, but then yet they're not putting on an automatic approval for the showing, which would make a lot more sense. So these are just simple things that like you can do to make the process better because, and I want to start bringing agents on here, and appraisers, different people. We're going to talk to different people, but I just want to have this conversation so it's out there for the community because it's not just hurting me. It's hurting the people that I'm trying to help. Because for me, in my pocket, it's a couple dollars, and I can make that in other places. But me putting someone in a home is everything.
And just for clarification, Realty Ryan, you're not saying that because you did the credit check on the background, that means you're entitled to the property. You're just saying that communication is important.
Right. Take the application, review it. Let me know something,
and
yay
say,
or nay.
It's
That's
not going to
all.
work. Because I will say that I did throw, I'm on Facebook Marketplace, bro.
Wow. That's new.
Yeah. Because, hey, guys, if you're looking for a deal, buy it on Facebook Marketplace. Like, you can buy everything.
We're still going to run your
I don't
credit.
know if I get plugged. We can plug this in.
Yeah,
no, Facebook don't care.
Yeah, we out here.
Facebook still will not push our ads.
I love you, Facebook. I don't even mess with them other social medias. Realty Ryan is loyal to Facebook. I got them. I don't use them. They like side broads that I just let do little weird stuff on the side, but nothing major. And then I go home to wifey, but I don't do that.
Yeah, he don't do that. But listen, guys. So my Facebook review, I don't even have not my regular Facebook review, guys, my marketplace. And it's literally two people that were looking to rent a property. Right. And they were upset. One lady was upset well, both of them were upset. One of them said that we were doing an open house, and we told them like the day off or the day before, and I'm like, lady, do you know that sometimes I wake up to like 60 messages? You understand what I'm saying? And by the time, if you respond to these messages a week early, they'll forget by the time the open house comes.
Oh, they was hitting you up, asking you if it was going on?
No, they just hit you with the, is this still available? Is this still available? So then now you find yourself having to say, okay, what day can we do an open house? And you just send everybody messages. So maybe you might have sent me the message 2 days ago. And now I'm sending everybody saying, hey, by the way, it's going to be tomorrow, or it's going to be this evening, or whatever. This lady gave me a 1-star, bro.
Oh.
Right? Then another lady, same thing. She want to tell me that she have an emotional support dog.
Oh, shit.
I'm not saying that that's not a thing, people.
No,
But
it's a thing.
we know the loopholes, right?
The loophole is don't tell them to.
But also, she says that she's saying that we're being discriminatory by not doing that. And I'm like, okay, but you think you know the laws, but you really don't. Because for all the people out there that's going to use that tactic, just understand that if the landlord lives there, they could fully discriminate for any reason.
1000%.
Like literally. And they could tell you, and there's nothing that could be done
It
about
says it in the Realtor book.
So if the landlord says they do not care whether or not this is an emotionally support dog, if the dog actually massages your feet and your shoulders or whatever the dog does, runs your bath for you. I don't know
get
what
my beer, Smokey.
I don't know what the emotional support dogs do. But anyways, it does not mean that that person has to then go ahead and accept you. So Realty Ryan, just for clarity, you're saying that you want communication, but for the people out there that think that because you spend $40 or $50 for a background and credit check and you submit it to an agent, it does not mean that they have to accept you.
Right.
But you have to at least be decent enough after you review that to then reach out to said agent and say, hey, listen, thank you for submitting this, but here's the reason why this would not work for this rental.
Or at least make sure you review it, even if you don't reach out to the person. Make sure you've looked over everything and checked it over, because I'm even dealing with something with my boy, my guy, my leasing agent that I work with, where someone's coming at him trying to say some craziness like that, where, you know, so just make sure you review the application. So one thing I do want to let you guys know is we will be doing a live in the next 30 days. In that live, we're going to be raffling off a $100 gift card donated by the brokerage. So stay tuned. What we want you to do is stay tuned into that live, sign in, comment, say something to get the conversation started about real estate, questions, experiences, anything like that. If you comment in that live, we're going to put your name inside for raffle to win $100. So that is going to happen in the next 30 days. Today is July 10th. So by August 10th, we'll be having this. And let's say we'll aim for the beginning of August. We're going to raffle off $100 in a live. We record on Wednesdays. So you do the mots. Fab, right. We appreciate you. We thank you for being here, for the knowledge. I had somebody ask me about blighted properties and stuff like that recently, and I said, bro, you got to sit down with my broker, because he's the man. That's what makes your tenure not even matter. The unorthodox way, and I say it time and time again, we operate here, is like top notch. Yeah,
thank you for having me, bro.
Appreciate
this is always fun. Appreciate it. And thank you for all the subscribers and everybody that's tuning in. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Romano for holding it down for us. Whether he's like in there with us or sitting in the background, he's making sure you guys have access. So big shout outs to him. Show him support. Romano the Realtor. And check me out on Facebook, because I ain't even checking those other ones, but they coming soon still.